In these troubling days of a modern world gone mad, one man has the technology to make a difference in time and space.
The death of Pope Paul VI is being mourned all over the world, his body now lying in state in the Vatican. And Baltimoreans are saddened by the Pope's passing. We'll have the full story next, right here on Channel 13's Eyewitness News.
Let's shake 'em up together.
Shake 'em up? What's that?
It's a great new taste of ice-cold Thunderbird with grapefruit juice. Just pour the juice in the bottle and...
Shake 'em up, shake 'em up, shake 'em up. Thunderbird and grapefruit juice. Shake 'em up.
That's a shake 'em up.
Wow, totally together.
Thunderbird and grapefruit juice. Shake 'em up.
Now you get some.
Thunderbird and grapefruit juice. Shake 'em up.
Audiences across America are standing up, applauding, and cheering a film called Walking Tall. It is a true story of one man that seems to touch all men. It has been called the best American movie of the year. Sooner or later, someone you know will tell you to see it.
This is Eyewitness News, Maryland's most complete television news service. With Richard Scher, Oprah Winfrey, and the Eyewitness News team.
Good afternoon, everyone. Right now, the body of Pope Paul VI is lying in state at St. Peter's Basilica in the Vatican. The 80-year-old spiritual leader of the world's 700 million Roman Catholics died late yesterday. He had a heart attack while at his summer residence south of Rome, where he'd gone to rest because his arthritis was acting up. Vatican sources say the Pope was conscious and lucid until his final moments of life. His last words were reportedly this: "The death of a pope is like that of other men, but it can always teach others something." The death of the 262nd successor to the throne of St. Peter is being mourned by people all around the world, Baltimoreans included. Frank Luber and Ernst and I were in East Baltimore talking with some people today saddened by the death of the Pope.
State of Maryland flags are flying half-staff today in honor of Pope Paul VI. They'll remain that way till the Pope's funeral 8 days from now. The action was ordered by Acting Governor Blair Lee. Meanwhile, Catholics and non-Catholics alike in the Baltimore area are mourning the Pope's passing. In the Little Italy section, almost 100% Catholic, the Pope's death saddened just about everyone I talk with. And even his unbending stand on birth control and priestly celibacy failed to diminish their praise for him.
I think a lot of things that he was, proposed to was very right, because the country is going very bad in those things.
He tried to do everything for the country, try to hold peace in the world, and he did a lot of to help the poor and everything like that. I think it's very good. Very good man.
Well, I thought it was a shame that he died like he did. I think it'll hurt the whole country.
In what way?
Well, in religion and stuff like that, he tried to keep people together, which a lot of people don't think he was good, but I do.
The Little Italy community was already talking about a successor to the Italian Pope. Some hoped an American would be named, but admitted the selection probably would again go to an Italian cardinal.
Mi italiana sono. No, non speak English.
Tu che credi? Fanno nato americano o italiano mo? A me she thinks they can make an Italian.
I think it's sempre italiano. Perché a Roma, I don't know.
Always an Italian, she said.
And so as the selection of a new pope is about to begin, here in Little Italy, as well as in the rest of the Baltimore community, Paul VI will be remembered as a good man and a good leader who reacted strongly in a troubled period of time. In Little Italy, I'm Frank Luber, Channel 13, Eyewitness News with Instant Eye.
And of course, church leaders are also mourning the death of Pope Paul. Right after news of the Pope's death flashed around the world, Judy Womack and Instant Eye talked with Baltimore's Archbishop William Borders.
Of course, all of us are really saddened at the death of the Holy Father. He seemed to have had a premonition. Only 5 days ago, he remarked that he thought his death was imminent. I think we can all thank God for the leadership that he has offered to the church throughout the world. He came into his responsibility as the successor of St. Peter during the council and had the obligation, the responsibility, and the privilege, too, of trying to offer a leadership in implementing this council. It affected the church in almost every area. Besides his leadership in the church, everyone will remember his outstanding appeal in the United Nations for peace in New York, his visit to various countries in the Third World, recognizing their emergence, recognizing their needs, calling for people to live in peace and harmony.
In New York City, Terence Cardinal Cook shared his sentiments with news reporters outside St. Patrick's Cathedral.
We thank God for the gift of his saintly, courageous, priestly life in our midst in difficult times. As the faithful successor of St. Peter, he not only guided the Vatican Council to a happy conclusion, but also worked and prayed to bring about the spiritual renewal of the Church in the service of mankind. With understanding, patience, and compassion, he served as an instrument of reconciliation and a visible center of our unity in faith and love.
Non-Catholics are also reacting to the death of the Pope. President Carter says he's deeply saddened, saying that Pope Paul was a great source of moral inspiration. Carter says he believes that Pope Paul will best be remembered for his ecumenical movement and his world travels, including trips to some communist and third world countries. Evangelist Billy Graham says he thinks history will show Pope Paul to be one of the most significant Catholic church leaders in modern times. Britain's Queen Elizabeth praised Pope Paul's untiring efforts toward world peace. And leaders of the Mormon Church say the Pope was an example of selfishness, devotion, and courage.
Well, right now, all cardinals are on their way to Rome, where they will vote on a successor to Pope Paul. Baltimore's Lawrence Cardinal Sheehan, who was appointed by Pope Paul, will be going to the funeral. But because he's over 80, Cardinal Sheehan tells Don Scott and Instant Eye he is now too old to vote.
Cardinals who are eligible will be summoned to the conclave by the Dean of Cardinals. They enter the conclave, and this time there is a special feature. No cardinal is allowed to take an attendant with him. In past conclaves, each cardinal had an attendant. But according to the latest rules put out by Pope Paul VI, each cardinal must go in alone.
Knowing that Pope Paul was considered liberal by a lot of people, he changed a lot in the church. Will the cardinals be looking for a man as liberal as Paul, or will they be looking for someone more conservative?
I don't think that this whole idea of whether he's liberal or conservative, will enter into it. I think that these categories have a bit of artificiality about them. I think any cardinal who is chosen would be conservative enough to preserve the essentials of the church, and would be forward-looking enough to look out for the welfare of the church in the world that is, as it is developing.
Knowing that the cardinals choose from amongst themselves a relatively small group of men.
The biggest group that they've had, 120.
Could any one cardinal be seen to have the inside track as of this time?
I would not be able to speculate, and I don't mean that I just don't want to tell you what I think, but I really couldn't tell you who would have the best chance of being elected.
So as the cardinals gather to elect their new pope, there is now speculation that a non-Italian may have a chance to become the Catholic Church's leader. Only 46 of the 262 popes have been non-Italian, but 3 of the leading contenders come from outside Italy. They include Cardinal Eduardo Pernio, 57, an Argentinian who's considered progressive, Cardinal Franz Koenig, the 73-year-old Archbishop of Vienna, Johannes Willebrand, a 68-year-old cardinal from the Netherlands. Leading Italian candidates include Sebastiano Beggio, 65, who's the prefect of the Congress of Bishops, Sergio Pinandoli, 68, who's president of the Secretariat for Non-Christians, and Giovanni Benelli, 57, the Vatican's Undersecretary of State. Those cardinals eligible to vote will cast their ballots 4 times a day until a successor to Pope Paul is chosen. The selection of a new pope will be marked by white smoke as the cardinals burn their ballots with straw. Pope Paul has headed the church since his election in 1963, when he succeeded Pope John XXIII. Born Giovanni Battista Montini, he soon became known as the Pilgrim Pope.
He traveled in the provinces of the people he served, even in his early years as Archbishop of Milan. And he traveled as a pilgrim to the Holy Land soon after he became Pope Paul. It was the beginning of an unprecedented series of trips to 16 nations on 6 continents. "I am an apostle on the move," he said. He was the most traveled pontiff in history and the first ever to visit the United States. In New York, he received a spontaneous tribute at St. Patrick's Cathedral. And the Mass he delivered at Yankee Stadium was quickly nicknamed the Sermon on the Mound. But his travels also made him vulnerable. On his last trip abroad to Manila, he had to be shielded from a man who tried to kill him with a knife. And within the closer realms of his authority, his papal rule was marked by conflict over his condemnations of artificial birth control and abortion, over his strong reaffirmation of priestly celibacy. In earlier times, he might have been known as a progressive pope. But the 60s and 70s were years of doctrinal experimentation in the Catholic Church, of a disaffection among priests that the Pope called his crown of thorns. Late in June, he said he felt his death nearing, and he appealed to rebels to spare further risks to the Church. On his papacy, he said, "It has cost me much suffering." But he also once offered a glimpse of his personal philosophy, one that may have helped guide what friends described as a warm private personality that was always partially hidden in public. He said, "Look up to heaven when you fly, and fear nothing." Bob Brown, ABC News.
Pope Paul will be buried with all the splendor reserved for Catholic Church prelates. Before then, there will be special masses, including one tomorrow at noon at the Basilica of the Assumption on North Charles Street. Special prayers will also be said for the Pope at regular masses at most Catholic churches.
Thank God it's Friday. Everyone's favorite night when the calmest thing happening is on the dance floor.
I'm out with an old man. And I'm not looking for action. What I want is a nice girl.
Would you like to dance?
Maybe it was fate. Maybe it was just Friday. But it was a night none of them will ever forget. Thank God it's Friday. Rated PG.
Now playing at a theater near you. Consult newspaper for showtimes.
Hi, I'm Mike. I'm Joe. We're the Bortz Brothers. If you think our Sally Stage restaurant are just for adults, look what Sally Stage has for the whole family. There's entertainment. There's children's rodeo. Birthday parties and games for the kids. The menu has selections for everyone. Pizza, chicken, crab legs, Sally's own original recipe ribs, and fantabulous desserts.
Everyone in your family will enjoy a visit to Sally Stage's restaurant in Chicago or Lombard. Come on out this week.
The police are baffled, desperate, confused. They need help. From Pete Novick, Private Eye. They're all after the Roadrunner, a car thief who's already stolen over a dozen cars and turned the streets into a demolition derby. Who is the Roadrunner, and can they catch him in a speed trap? Speed Trap, starring Joe Don Baker and Tyne Daly. Speed Trap, rated PG. Parental guidance suggested.
It's here, the Disco Body Shaper, the brand new exerciser sensation that's sweeping the country. This is the fastest, easiest way yet to trim and tone up your whole body. Just a few minutes a day with the Disco Body Shaper is all it takes to produce amazing results. Simply follow the Disco Body Shaper plan, and before you know it, you'll see unwanted inches begin to shrink before your very eyes. Flab will start to turn into healthy, beautifully firm tissue. Just imagine what this will do for your upper arms, back, bust, buttocks, problem areas that nothing seems to help. But beware of plastic imitations. Only the genuine Disco Body Shaper is made of steel. Send for yours today. You'll get results or your money back.
To order, call toll-free 1-800-648-5322. Save the COD charges and $9.95 to Disco Body Shaper, Box 466, Southfield, Michigan, 48037. Only the Disco Body Shaper is made of all steel. Don't accept plastic imitations. Order now.
A White Marsh, Maryland man has died in a construction accident in Anne Arundel County. County police say 41-year-old Harry Hillegas was removing pins from a crane boom on McAfee Bridge Road in Pasadena. A piece of the crane fell on Hillegas' head. He was dead on arrival at North Arundel Hospital. 3 Baltimore City Public Works employees were injured in a truck collision this morning. The accident occurred at North Avenue and Montreal Street. The driver of the overturned truck said he was heading down North Avenue toward the intersection when his brakes failed. He swerved to avoid hitting the city truck but overturned in the process. The 3 men hurt had been riding in the open bed of the city dump truck. The overturned truck, which carried pea stone, is owned by the John H. Coal Company. A 27-year-old Woodlawn woman suffered a broken back when she was forced to jump from her burning apartment building this morning. A 2-alarm fire at the Greenwood apartment complex on Fall Ridge Court damaged 9 units. Those residents have been forced to seek shelter elsewhere. Pauletta Dennis was injured when she jumped from the 3rd floor of the building. Fire officials are still trying to determine how that blaze got started. Fire officials in Hickory, North Carolina, are also trying to learn the cause of a fire at a chemical factory. It took hundreds of firefighters to finally put out the blaze there. 2,000 people had to be evacuated from their homes. 18 different chemicals fuel that fire. And state health officials are keeping residents away from their homes now to search for toxic fumes. Toxic chemicals buried underground at Niagara Falls, New York, have forced many residents there to flee their homes. They've been offered new homes on an Air Force base. Officials there say they have up to 40 excess housing slots. The State Health Department has told residents that they should move out of the area.
Led by William Wilcox, chief of the U.S. Disaster Assistance Administration, the group got to see and smell for themselves the health hazard that may force more than 100 families to leave their homes.
Oh, wow.
Okay, see it?
Yeah.
That's our problem. Yes.
How, was that hole dug or?
No, sir. That's an open barrel that's come right to the surface.
The Carter administration has already approved $4 million to clean up the poisonous canal, but disaster relief aid to the stricken families will depend on Wilcox's report to Washington.
This is a unique situation that I don't know of us having encountered in a similar way before.
Many of the affected families in the Love Canal area have decided not to wait for federal aid. People like the Robert Hearn family are already packing up and getting out.
We've been waiting for the reports to come out, and they've come out. And they all point that we're in danger here. So by the state Commissioner of Health recommendation by our own family doctor who takes care of our children, we have decided in our family's best interest that we will leave this house never to return again.
Don Postal's ABC News, Niagara Falls.
The Maryland Public Service Commission is holding hearings today on the controversial fuel rate adjustment clause. Under new legislation, a utility can only pass on the fuel charge when fuel costs go up or down by 5%. The hearings are being held in Salisbury. The PSC is expected to make a decision on that new system, Richard, at the end of the hearings.
Oprah, a member of the Baltimore City Board of Fire Commissioners, has suggested an addition to the fire department's top officials. Calhoun Bond, who's president of the board, has recommended recreating a departmental post eliminated several years ago. He wants to reclassify the post of maintenance to deputy fire chief of maintenance. That job was eliminated to save money. Resurrecting it would increase the salary to $31,000. And money's also the issue for some employees put out of work. The Schaefer Brewery went out of business here in Baltimore. They say the company owes them almost $3 million, and they tell Judy Womack and Instant Eye they don't like it at all.
Nearly a month ago, the Schaefer Brewing Company closed its doors for good, reportedly in $80 million debt. 300 people are out of work, and they say that they're angry with the company as well as the union.
All the personnel, other than union personnel in the company, received severance pay. And the guys that have put 30 years in there and 10 years that work for the union haven't got a darn thing.
The members of Teamsters Local 1010 say they didn't know the brewery was closing and feel they've been sold down the river by the union's leadership.
I had a telephone conversation with the president, John Schaefer, that he had told me that he knew about it 6 months ago. And when I confronted him with his answer, he told me that he didn't want to cause a Holocaust.
Charles Blackwell was with Schaefer for 11.5 years. David Henderson was 12 hours shy of his 10th anniversary when the brewery closed.
They say the company is broke, but yet they still running the brewery up in Allentown. So they took the work from us and took it to Allentown. So I mean, other than that, they just threw us out.
I'd have knew it a year ago, I would have never went out and bought a home. I bought a home, as quite a number of us bought a home. Younger guys, people went out and got themselves in debts with cars and things. When nobody did that. So now you got to get out here and look for a job. You don't know where to go.
The workers say their only option now is to take their case to arbitration to win pension and severance benefits. The men are also upset with city fathers and other politicians that didn't step in and try to convince the brewery to stay in Baltimore. Judy Womack, Channel 13 Eyewitness News with Instant Eye.
Hal Piper, the Baltimore Sun reporter convicted of slander by the Soviet Union, says he is not going to print a retraction. This despite a deadline set for today by the Soviet government for that retraction to be printed. Piper and Craig Whitney of the New York Times don't really know what reaction their stance will bring from Russia, but Piper tells Don Scott and Instant Eye he's not worried.
Well, I'm looking forward to it because that's where my job is, and I've got some work to do to finish up. A lot of people assume that we haven't heard the end of it, that the Russians are going to do something else. And maybe they will, but I'm not necessarily so sure.
Piper will return to Moscow a week from today. He says he doesn't expect any trouble when he does get back there. Whitney's already returned to the Soviet Union and has not reported any problems as of now. Jailed New York Times reporter Myron Farber got a big dose of support today from the Board of Directors of Investigative Reporters and Editors Incorporated. The board gave its unanimous support for Farber, saying the public is a real loser whenever a reporter is put in jail. Farber's stories led to the indictment of a New Jersey doctor on charges of murder. Well, a Baltimore woman has decided that she'd like to become a U.S. citizen.
That's good, and the birds are shut out. We'll have the full stories next here on Channel 13 Eyewitness News.
Someone is stealing the most expensive cars in town. Someone who can open any car door, start any engine with just the flick of a switch on a little black box. Someone who can drive like crazy. The police call him the Road Runner. Who is the Road Runner? And can Pete Novick stop him before he strikes again? Speed Trap, starring Joe Don Baker and Time Hale. Rated PG. Parental guidance suggested.
They are searching for a star called Earth. But first, they
have to fight a great war. Battlestar Galactica takes you to undreamed-of worlds, engaged in a war so devastating, it might change history. Did it happen eons ago, or will it happen tomorrow? Battlestar Galactica, in Sense-Around at most theaters, rated PG.
Check newspapers for a theater near you.
Hi, I'm Sandy Duncan, and like most everybody, I am a snack lover. In fact, right now, I love some Wheat Thins. Wheat Thins taste really good, and they're full of natural whole wheat. So they make a terrific snack right out of the box, or you could put something on top. Look, when you're having a snack, why not have something really good? Wheat Thins. They call them the light little cracker with the big wheat taste from Nabisco. Love them.
Cut. Reload. That's a complicated-looking machine, isn't it? Funny thing is, a lot of people still think that taking home movies is that complicated, too. If that were true, believe me, I wouldn't take them. For instance, he's reloading the film. Let me show you how easy Kodak has made it for you and me with a Kodak Instamatic movie camera. You finish one roll of film, drop another one in, you're all set. How are you doing, Charlie? Taking home movies couldn't be much easier than that, could it? You know, now is the time to start, too. When the kids are growing up, you're on your vacation, save the action and the color in movies. With Kodak projectors, movies are easy to show, too. And cameras start at less than $35. Actually, you know what Kodak does for you?
Sometimes you feel like a nut, sometimes you don't. Almond Joy's got nuts, Mounds don't. Almond Joy's got real milk chocolate, coconut and munchy nuts too. Mounds got deep dark chocolate and chewy coconut. Ooh. Sometimes you feel like a nut, sometimes you don't. Peter Paul, Almond Joy's got nuts, Peter Paul, Mounds don't. Because sometimes you feel like a nut, sometimes you don't.
Now a look at Eyewitness Sports at this noontime. Our Baltimore Orioles up in Toronto for a game with the Blue Jays. That game will get underway in just a little over an hour from now. Scheduled to pitch for the Birds, Denny Martinez. Jim Clancy taking the mound for the Blue Jays. Unfortunately, it was a pitcher's duel in New York yesterday when Jim Palmer faced Catfish Hunter. Palmer ran into trouble right away in the first inning when Mickey Rivers hits this chopper. Mark Belanger fields the ball and throws wide. So that's that. Next batter up was Jay Johnstone. He singles to left when Thurman Munson walked. And this loads the bases. And Chris Chambliss then singles to right, which is going to score Rivers and Johnstone. There goes a single to right field. 2 runs coming in the score now, 2-0 in favor of the Yankees. Back in the 6th inning with 2 men on, Craig Nettles singles, enabling Johnstone to cross the plate, making the score 3-0. And Catfish Hunter keeps mowing down the Birds. They come up in the 7th inning with Rick Dempsey up at bat. And Rick's going to hit into a double play right now. Hunter kept the Orioles to 5 hits. He completed his first game and recorded his first shutout out of the year. And then in the 8th, on a 2-run pitch by Larry Harlow, was called out on strikes by George Koss. Harlow got hot. Earl Weaver went out to help him, but Harlow got thrown out of the game anyway. The final score was 3-0, and it's the same old story for Palmer. He's failing to get that needed hitting power when he's pitching. Oprah, that's a shame.
Sure is. We're going to take a look at some people making news this noon. Billy Carter had a disappointment in Davenport, Iowa yesterday. He was at the Great Mississippi Valley Fair and had wanted to compete in the Demolition Derby. Wanted to, but he didn't have a driver's license. Billy's spirits were boosted a little later, though, when he allowed death-defying motorcycle stunt drivers to soar over him as he lay on the ground. At the fair, he proclaimed that the people there were about the best Yankees he'd ever met. One of the nation's premier architects, Edward Durrell Stone, has died at the age of 76. Stone died Sunday at New York's Roosevelt Hospital after a brief illness. Stone won many medals for his works, and 2 of his well-known public buildings are Radio City Music Hall in New York and the Kennedy Center in Washington. Emma Rossi of Dundalk had a big party yesterday, and Ince and I just couldn't resist joining in. Emma Rossi's party helped her celebrate her 93rd birthday. Her birthday was actually on Friday, but yesterday was a much better day for such a big party. We're told that everyone you see here in this room is somehow related to the birthday lady.
Oh, my.
These are all yours?
Oh, no, all my generation.
Found out that the party was more than just a birthday celebration.
Because I had a foster paper, my husband died. I never bother no more make a citizen because of my children say, oh, Mama, no bother.
If you waited all that time and you didn't become a citizen, why are you becoming a citizen now at this age?
My granddaughter, she won't make me. This is my granddaughter. She won't make a citizen before go under the ground.
As a child, she always wanted to become a citizen, telling me she wanted to be a citizen. So after 71 years and 5 months, I thought we should do something about it.
Emma Rossi starts the process of becoming an American citizen today after being here 71 years. The party was a lot of fun, as much of her offspring as well as for her, and certainly a warm way to begin such an important step in her life. So happy birthday, Emma, and good luck to you.
I would have liked to have gone to that party.
I'm sorry we missed it.
Would have been a nice party to go to.
Yes. Well, first it was Amelia. Now there's another angry lady brewing up a storm.
Our weather picture also not looking too promising this afternoon. We'll have the complete forecast and more news. Eyewitness News continues in just a moment.
Crack open an icy cold Hams. Refreshing as the land of sky blue waters. Enjoy a cool, refreshing Hams.
This year, it's possible that more people will see Walking Tall than any other movie.
Oh, there it is again.
What?
System. You live my way or you don't live.
Sooner or later, someone you know will tell you to see it, unless you tell them first. Walking Tall, rated R.
Hello, young waffle lovers, wherever you are. Professor Goody here, high up in this bell tower. And just so that pesky waffle whiffer won't follow me, I'm pulling all the ladders up behind me. There, safe at last. Now to pop a couple of delicious Aunt Jemima frozen waffles into my trusty toaster. So light, crisp, golden brown. Oh, I could hardly wait. Waffle, waffle, waffle. Waffle, 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 waffle. Sorry, Wallace. These Aunt Jemima waffles are just for me. Waffle, 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 waffle. Hey, now. Waffle. Wallace, please. Waffle, 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 waffle. Oh, very well, Wallace. Won't you join me? Waffle, waffle, waffle.
This is a waffle whiffer whiffing an Aunt Jemima waffle. You'll find them in your grocer's freezer. Is there a waffle whiffer at your house?
Waffle?
Birth defects strike over 250,000 infants a year in this country alone. What can we do about it? Plenty. You know, research has shown that some birth defects can be prevented by proper prenatal care, and that includes good nutrition.
Yeah, that's not bad, but 4 pounds in 2 weeks is terrific.
I'm Mark Hamill, asking you to protect the unborn and the newborn.
Tropical storm Bess is now located about 70 miles east of Mexico, and the season's second major tropical storm is expected to slam into the Mexican coast within a few hours. Bess has winds as high as 45 miles an hour, but appears to be no threat to South Texas. Right now, there is a flash flood warning in effect in western Maryland, where there's been minor flooding since early yesterday. But in other parts of Maryland, the weather isn't so bad. It will be cloudy, warm, and humid today, with showers and thunderstorms likely. Today's highs will be in the upper 80s, near 90, we're told. Tonight, the lows will be in the mid-60s to mid-70s. That is tonight. And tomorrow, The weather outlook is more of the same. It should be another warm and humid day tomorrow with a possible thunderstorm. Right now on Television Hill, the temperature 84 degrees.
Well, hundreds of Star Trek fans gathered in Silver Spring this weekend for the Maryland Star Trek Conference. There were costumes, contests, as well as posters, buttons, and film clips on display. Some die-hard Trekkies came attired as their favorite characters, but another galactic explorer sneaked in.
What is this contraption? Darth Vader, right?
Yes.
Yeah. How come? Are you hot in there?
Yeah, very.
Why are you going to all this trouble?
Oh, it's just fun to get away for a while and be with people that are all here for science fiction.
Well, the forces may not have been with the Trekkies, but they at least had more fun than a Danubian slime devil at a picnic on Talos 4.
What?
That was a picnic on Talos 4. You
A
remember
Danubian
Talos 4.
slime devil.
It's 2 miles east of Talos 5. That's what's happening this noon. For the entire Eyewitness News team, I'm Richard Scher.
I'm Oprah Winfrey, and we both hope that it is a very pleasant afternoon for you.
I'm Jerry Turner. When you see news happening, call your Instant Eye hotline at 578-1313. Now Instant Eye can be anywhere you send it.
I talked to the district attorney. There's an outside chance we can make some type of a deal and plead to a lesser charge.
Let's just wait till all the evidence comes in, huh? Then we'll decide how we want to plead.
My investigators haven't been able to find any evidence to substantiate your version of what happened.
Did my private detectives come up with anything yet? About that yellow Chevy, the other car? Any footprints, anything?
What private detectives?
Now, didn't Susan tell you to hire them?
No.
What the hell's going on here?
I haven't been able to reach Susan for over a week. She hasn't been at the club, and a maid at the house says she's ill.
Oh, that's crap. Look, you go out, you hire them. You go to the club, you talk to Emmett or the bookkeeper, they'll give you the money to pay for them.
I'll do what I can. What we've got right now, we've got no chance. Believe me, Ron. No chance at all.
Private detectives.
To an ancient legend, the human body has 7 forbidden acupuncture points. If stimulated correctly with a special golden needle, the result is everlasting youth, pleasure, and vitality. Incorrectly, the result is agonizing death. 7 points, 7 needles, golden needles that can rule the world. American International presents Golden Needles. From the gracious mansions of Beverly Hills to the teeming waterfront of the China Sea, 7 people seek the treasure of pain and pleasure, the fabulous Golden Needles.
It's beautiful, as they say. 250,000. You're insane. Michelle mentioned any amount of money that is offered. What do you want?
30,000 American dollars.
You got it.
That's the deal. Joe Don Baker, that big man from Walking Tall, as a soldier of fortune, grasping for one last chance. That's the baby. Between his friends and his enemies, he's had a hard time staying alive. Elizabeth Ashley as Felicity. Am I gonna take you home? She's beautiful.
Definitely.
Smart. And definitely not to be trusted.
Where's my money? I lost it?
She lost it. Ann Southern as Finzi, the Mahjong Queen. She has a yen for men, money, and mayhem. Burgess Meredith as Winters. He's so rich, he can kill with a wave of his hand.
Now you get me the statue and the needles. Bring them to this specific spot. And if you don't, you will be subtracted.
Jim Kelly as Jeff. He has a talent for karate and a taste for trouble.
Roy Chow as Ling Tao. He's an artist. He works in oils and blood. Frances Fong as Su Lin. She may look delicate, but watch out. 7 desperate people on one desperate chase to find the golden needles. He who owns them can rule the world.
Come and take you in.
A flesh-eating mammal, they have been kept in a domesticated state by man since prehistoric times. When abandoned by man, left to fend for themselves, and deprived of food, they will resort to the most primitive means of survival. Given no other choice, they form the pack.
Most of those dogs were just tourist pets until a few weeks ago.
You better speak up or get!
The old man was the first to feel it. Then Tom saw it.
Did the warden kill that dog? One of them. Are you saying there's more than one?
Then Millie came face to face with it. Last summer, they were pets. Now they are predators. The right move may mean survival, while each moment brings them closer to death. The pack. They're not pets anymore.
As near as we can tell, Palermo's people in some way tampered with the aeroplane and forced it to land before it could get to Sicily.
Now, you listen to me, Geronimo. The Maltese and Italian authorities will handle this from now on. I want you to catch the next plane back to the United States and file your report, you understand?
You saying I set up?
You know, my ancestors, they used to skin their enemies. Just peel the skin right off the bone. Take a sharp knife and just cut layer after layer of flesh. Hey, maybe you want to tell me where I can find this, Joe Valero? Maybe you prefer I show you more about how to skin someone.
Perhaps I'd better call someone in from Rome to help us rid ourselves of this American.
No, please. I owe this cowboy. He killed Tony. This is family.
If there is one more incident, just one more, caused by you or not, as God is my judge, I will keep you in custody until your plane leaves tomorrow.
You're being a royal pain in the ass of the Maltese. I want you on the next plane to Texas, and that's an order, Sheriff.
I am not one of your immigration flunkies, Wilson. I do not take orders from you.
That's where you're wrong, Geronimo. You were assigned to work under my command as a courtesy from your mayor. Now, if I have to call Texas to verify that to you, I'll do it. But at this moment, you're on suspension. I'll take your badge.
you kind of miss that little bit of bliss? When a hug or a kiss I give you, oh, tell me, baby, don't you? You know, pretty soon there'll be a honeymoon, and to the preacher we will go. And in a year, maybe, honey dear, we'll have a boop-boop-be-doo, boop-boop-be-doo. Ain't you kind of glad, and ain't you kind of gay when you hear me say I love you? Oh, tell me, baby, boop-boop-be-doo-be-doo, won't you, huh? Darling, I am growing older still. Oh! You're next, Bimbo.
Do you want to know how tough Earl Eyeshide is? That's a chief of detectives played by Joe Don Baker in the Channel 5 series to be seen at 9 p.m. Friday nights this fall. Eyeshide is so tough, he could look at Chicago Police Chief Joe DeLeonardi and not worry about being transferred. Eyeshide is so tough, he could yell back at Mayor Jane Byrne and not flinch. Eyeshide is so tough, he could walk through a Chicago traffic court and have the bailiffs call him sir. Joe Don Baker was the star of the Walkin' Tall movies. He was born in Groesbeck, Texas, and he's played a number of movie and TV tough guys, but he claims to be literally a pussycat. He says he loves cats, has cats all over the place at home. Now, could anybody who loves cats be all bad?
He rose through the ranks to become chief of detectives in New York City. He's one hell of a cop, tough enough to fight for what he believes, man enough to get the job done in the toughest city in the world.
I want supervision. One sergeant for every 5 detectives. We can't get warrants. We can't go into any of the apartments without probable cause. All they can do is knock on the doors, show the photos, and ask questions. Maybe we get close enough, somebody will tell us something. Or maybe we get close enough, somebody will take a shot at one of our detectives. And if that happens, I hope to God he misses. Betty, Cyril, what's up?
I just wanted to remind you that it's Richie's birthday in case you've forgotten.
Oh, they come around so fast. I think he's already had 4 this year.
I hope you're going to do something special with him.
I don't have time to go to John or bed or anything else with these 2 cops gunned down. On top of the usual mess.
Look, he's 14 years old and he misses you very much. I think you should make a special effort.
Damn it, Betty, I'm making a special effort to keep him going nuts around here. You did good. You're lucky to be alive. They counted about 25 holes in the car.
She wouldn't stop, Chief.
Well, your own shooting was very good also. Look, I want you to come down to the bank for a debriefing with the other witnesses. The FBI will want to talk to you also. Are you up to it?
Sure, anything, Chief.
Sure. Hello?
Hi. You doing anything?
Haven't decided.
Would you like to come over and have a drink?
And now, folks, it's time to say goodnight. We sincerely appreciate your patronage and hope we've succeeded in bringing you an enjoyable evening of entertainment. Please drive home carefully and come back again soon. Good night.